There we are. Okay, and then I'll just pull this down.
Oh, click on the little...
This?
The Clipper Street, yep. And there in the red.
Okay, perfect. I always hate my arm. Whenever I see my arm go across there, it drives me insane. I need to chop it off. Thanks, Stace. Good morning, everybody. We're a couple of minutes early, just making sure that we got on. Actually, it shows 10 o'clock on the iPad, but Clipper Street time is a couple of minutes early. So anyways, we'll just wait a few minutes and make sure everybody gets on. Hello, who you got? Rosie, good. I'm glad to see names coming up. Wanda. This is Diane from Clipper Street. I haven't done a crafty hour for quite a long time, so I'm excited to do this one with you, and I hope you like it too. The thing we always say about crafty hours is you do you. We give you some suggestions, we give you some ideas, and then if you like them, you do them, and if you want to use your beautiful product for something else, then you are definitely able to do that too. I loved this paper that we're using today. It's just so cute. It's really adorable. So I'm going to give you a few little ideas. As most of you know or remember, if you've taken my crafty hours before, I always type out my instructions, and I have my little cards with the dimensions that we do as we go along. But at the end of the day or tonight, I will post the pictures of my cards, and then I'll post the sheets and the tags as well. So if you're not doing them today, or you're doing them on replay, or you just want to file it away, then you have the information for further time. We also always post our crafty hours on YouTube. So after this is done today, I don't know how long it takes, probably not too long. It'll be on YouTube, and it'll always stay on YouTube. So if you want to do crafty hour number 6, you can go back, and then you will find crafty hour 6, and it would be the same. This one is crafty hour, what are we on? 94? I can't believe it. What is today? Today is crafty hour 94, yes. So anyways, we will go ahead. We're going to start. We probably won't get to all 3. This one is going to be my last one, and that's the one I will have complete instructions for. And these little guys, again, you can look at them, see if it's something that you'd like to do, and craft along with me, or have a cup of coffee and just enjoy. I'm happy to be with you today. Like I say, I haven't done a crafty hour in quite a while, so it's nice to be back with you. So we're going to start today with this little guy, and I know most of you know that I love my little easel cards. We did a double easel card, I think in my last crafty hour or one before that. This one is just an easel card. And the thing I like about it is it's really cute, especially over the holidays. I mean, if you're using awesome paper like this, how could you miss? But the nice thing about an easel card is it has the little alcove here, I want to call it. So you can always tuck a little gift card or something in there too. So it works really well for Christmas. But of course it can be, I'll hold it up like this just so you can see the little alcove a little bit easier. And then, so yeah, you would maybe just make it a little bit wider, and then your gift card, or you could fold up a little gift certificate and stick it in there too. So this is a great way of giving somebody a card and a gift at the same time, and it folds flat, so then it'll go into your envelope as well. So yeah, so anyways, there is the one that we're gonna work on today. So I will get started. I'm gonna put this flat just so that you can see it a bit easier, and we'll pull it out and move it around as I go along with the instructions for it. So the Snowy Winter Easel card, that's what we're calling this guy. So we are going to start by doing the base of the easel card, and I had asked you in homework just to grab some white 8.5 by 11 or 12 by 12, of course, would work as well. cardstock. So we'll do our base first. And these are the dimensions for the easel base. So you're going to grab a sheet of your 8.5 by 11 white cardstock and grab your trimmer. Okay, and we're going to cut a piece going, whoops, let me make a trimmer right here, and I'll move this over. Just always want to make sure that I am in view. And forgive me, like I say, when I haven't done this for a while, I have to sort of get my ducks in a row. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna cut a piece of your 8.5, and we're gonna cut 2 pieces, but we're gonna cut them this way. So we're gonna cut them at 4 1/4. So there's your 4 1/4 by 8.5. We already have obviously the length. So there's your 4 1/4. And you can go ahead and cut one more strip. We're not using this one right away for the base, but while we've got our trimmer out and we have our paper on it, we may as well cut the 2. And this is just scrap, and we may use it, you never know. Okay, so what we're gonna do first is let's make the tent, or the score lines for the, oh, okay, I've got it on here as the tag. So let's do it this way. The other piece, so we have the 2 pieces now that we have cut at 4 1/4 by 8.5, okay? And so what we're gonna do is we're going to cut 2 pieces. Oh no, that's what I just did. I'm sorry, I'm trying to just read these as I go ahead. Okay, so let's just leave that for now. We're gonna score this one piece, okay? And we're gonna score it at 4 1/4. If you've got a scoring blade on your trimmer, that's the best. That's why I love my Spellbinders trimmer, let me tell you. Just make sure you use the score blade and not the gray, because that's your cutting blade, and I've done that many a time as well. So we're gonna score it at 4 1/4. And then we're gonna move it along and do it at 6 3/8. So I just have to move my little trimmer out like this, and we've got 1 2 3, so it's not quite 6 1/2, 6 3/8. And grab your scoring blade again and go ahead and do that. Okay, so there's, it's hard to see, I'm sure, on it, but we've got the 4 1/4 and the 6 3/8 score line. Okay, so that's what I have on this card. And our other piece we put aside for when we start working on the topper. Okay, so we can reinforce our folds. I think I brought I did. If you have a burnisher or one of the, things just to fold it, it makes it a little bit better. And especially when you're working on trying to keep it up as a tent, you want to make sure that you have really good fold lines. So you're going to cut it at the, or you're going to fold it, sorry, at the 4 1/4. And then just give it a good reinforcement. And then we're going to fold this one in. Okay, so you see what I've done there? So it's done. So what we have now is we have this. If you can see it, I'd like to give you a couple of different angles when we're doing it on the video as well. So this is basically what they call a Z fold, and you can see why, because it is like a Z. So we fold it at the 6 3/8, and we fold that up. Does that make sense? Everybody okay? Like I said, you've probably done these with me a million times, but it is just one of my favorite cards. And you just can't reinvent the wheel. I do what I do and what I do best. So there we go. Okay, so there is our poppy. There you go. That's basically doing our easel for us. We're at that point now. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my next card. And like I say, I will post these tags tonight, so you're going to be able to follow along. If you're not doing it right now, then you're good. Okay, so then we're going to grab our second piece that we had, that we cut before. We already cut it at 4 1/4. And we're just going to cut it at 4 1/4 again. So we're doing a 4 1/4 square. This is forming our topper. Okay, so this is going to go on to here. And now when you push that back, there's your little easel. Okay, makes sense? Everybody okay? So that's our little topper. And then of course it's gonna fold down and you're gonna be good with that. Okay, so that's that part done. Let me just grab my notes, make sure that I've got everything done. Okay, good. So now we're gonna go to our paper pad. This paper pad is just absolutely amazing because it has all these cute little guys that we are using for our embellishments, but it also has, oh my gosh, all of these amazing stripes and solids and the whole bit in these pads. So the one I'm going to use is this lighter green. There are two different greens. There's the darker green that we're going to use. I think I used it on, yeah, the second thing. So that's the darker. This is the lighter. So this is the one that I used for, let me move it up a bit. There's the lighter green there. My iPad's a bit behind, so I always make sure that I'm right on view there for you. Okay, so this actually almost matches the pad on the table. So it's this lighter green one that we are now going to use. And this is going to be for the topper. We can set aside our little easel for right now because we can stick the topper on after we're done. Okay, so we're gonna grab this. We've grabbed this now from our paper pad and we're gonna cut two 4 1/8 by 4 1/8 square piece. Okay, so what I would do is I would just go to 4 1/8, like that, and you're gonna cut two of them, 4 1/8 by 4 1/8, so just over the 4, whoops, by 4 1/8. There we go. Okay, and we're going to set one of these aside. This is for when we're going to do the inside, and we will do that in a few minutes. And this other little piece that we had left, just stick it aside. You never know when you're going to be able to use scrap, that's for sure. And actually, we do use a little bit of it down the road. Okay, so we now have our piece that is going to go on the inside. This is what's going to go as our topper. When we go to attach it, that's what it's going to be like. And so it just has a very narrow white border around the outside. We've just cut it down slightly, just like that. Okay, and did I? Yeah, put that on. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our paper pad and we are going to, I think I have it in here. Let's go to our next card. Everybody's okay? I'm not going too fast or anything? You're good? Good, good? Good. Okay, so now we're going to look for the gingerbread house piece, which is just absolutely gorgeous. So this little cute gingerbread piece is in your book. Just flip through your book and you will find it. Just such a cute collection. There he is, because I've used one of them. You guys have two of them. And the nice thing about this kit too is the fact that you have two of everything. So when Courtney does her presentation this afternoon at 5 o'clock, she might use the gingerbread house too, but you're not going, oh geez, Diane already used it. I can't, you know, I won't be able to use it. You can use it because we each got two of everything. So it worked out really, really well. So we're going to grab the gingerbread house and we're going to cut it to 4 by 4. Now, if you look at my sample that I did, what I did was I basically tried to get, where did we go? 4 by 4. Okay, so I only included this one tree. If you can see it on here, okay, I'm in the screen and everything. So I just included the one tree. So we're cutting off the big tree, which is sad because it's so cute, and the one in the middle. But in order for us to fit it onto here, we're just gonna cut it to that. Okay, so what I would do first is grab this and just cut it to the 6x6 mark that we have, just so we can get rid of this part, and it's a little bit easier to maneuver when you're putting it onto your piece. So take this and just move it over. And how far in did I go on this one? Okay, let's see. So we did, if we want to get to a 4x4 piece, and we want to get a good little bit of this tree, yeah, it's pretty well. I think we only have to make one cut because I'm not really cutting off. What you can do is you can, that's why I put here, maneuver into place. So you can play around with it just to make sure you get what you want, but you want to have a 4x4 square is what you want. So I kind of cut it, and there's a good still portion of that tree. And now what I can do is go on the other side, you know, flip it around, go on the other side, and then you get a nice portion of the big tree on the other side. If you'd rather have it a little bit more centered, then play around with it. All you want to do is put it into place. Sharon, thank you. Okay, so Sharon has said that Courtney is now on at 3 Pacific time. Sorry, I didn't know that. So make sure you watch. She always has amazing things for you to work on as well. Thanks, Sharon. Okay, so now we have our 4x4 inch this way. Now we want to make sure that we get it the other way. Now, what I did with this one is I cut basically to the base of the little candy cane, if you can see it on my sample, the little candy cane on the tree. So if you flip this to your cutter and just go to there and cut that off. Okay, you don't need all the snow at the bottom, but we want to make sure that we sort of keep these cute little candy canes with the little tree in there too. And the other thing to realize too is if you look at my sample, this little guy is going to go on this side. So it doesn't matter so much if we cut as much off this side because he's going to go in front of it. All right, so now we want to get this to 4x4. So what I want to do is I want to go here, and where did I go on this one? Yes. I did it at, was it the top of the tree? Okay, yeah, that's right. So you're going to flip it around. Now we're going to cut off the top. And if you see this little star on this tree, you can see it there, the little star on the tree, that's basically we're going to cut. And that gives us our 4x4 square. So just like that. There's our 4x4 piece. And don't get rid of this guy because I'm going to use, I think this is the piece I use for the inside, or maybe it's a different one. Yeah, anyways, just keep it to the side and we'll play around with it. You never know. Okay, so there we go. So we've got the cute little little gingerbread house all ready to go. And we already did this portion of the topper. So what we're going to do is stick these two pieces together. So you can glue these two pieces flat, either use your tape runner or your sequin tape or your liquid glue, whatever you prefer to use. You can use any of them, and just cut it flat, or just stick it flat to the green piece. That way we have that ready. And it, again, we'll just have that tiny little border around the outside. There we go. And then we are going to put this piece onto this piece. This is our square that we did. Remember, we cut it at the beginning. And this is the one that's now going to form the topper to go on to our Z fold or our easel card. Okay, and I would put this one on with foam tape. I would give it a little bit of dimension. We don't want to put dimension on the inside because then it makes it difficult for the easel to stand up properly. So we may as well have a little bit of dimension on the outside. So I'm just going to use some of my foam squares here. Everybody's doing okay? I hope so. And you can use the foam squares. You could use the, I like the sticky thumb foam squares as well. We have those in the circles and the squares now. And they are a little bit more of a dimension, which is kind of nice, depending on, I actually use them in one of our other projects, and I'll show you, just because then you don't necessarily have to double up your foam squares if you've got the ability to have them sort of skinnier and taller, so they work well. Just stick a couple more of these guys on. Everybody's okay. Here we go, one more. And this is our little topper piece done. The base of it anyways. And then just put it into place so you've got it the way you want it. And there you go. So there's our topper. I just love this little gingerbread house. If they had done a whole pad of little gingerbread houses, that would be awesome. And that's gonna go on to there in a sec. Okay, so let's see where we are into here. Okay, so we can attach this topper now to the easel base, right? So we've got this folded up, right? Everybody's with me on that one. And we're going to attach this to that. So you're just gonna have it at the top. Make sure you don't put glue all over the back of this, or you're gonna have it stuck to the bottom. So all you wanna do basically is put your glue here, and then you can put your easel or your topper piece right on there, and that guy is ready to go. So you can use your, again, your tape runner or your liquid glue. Just don't use, or sequin, just don't use anything foam because you don't want it to be popped up. So we're gonna just make sure that is flat so that when we close it, it is right. And that is the top of our easel card. It looks just like that. Good? Everybody's good? Good. Okay, so there's that part of it done now. So now what we're going to do is get one of your embossed pieces. This embossing folder is absolutely gorgeous. To have this put into this kit is just fantastic, and that's thank you to Diane and Courtney for doing that, because it is just an amazing embossing folder. I love it. You know how much I love embossing folders. Now, one thing I'm going to mention before we do this is this embossing folder looks cool as embossed or debossed. So you can decide which way you would rather have it. With the thicker cardstock, I use 110 cardstock. It really came through beautifully either way. So it's entirely up to you if you want to use it. I'm going to use it with the embossed for now, but you can do it either or. So we're going to take one of our embossed pieces. I asked you to cut like 4. I don't think we'll need that many, but just so we had lots of them. And we're going to cut it to 4 by 4. Where's my, there we go. Next tag. So cut your embossed piece 4 by 4. So we're gonna obviously have lots of it. Now, one thing, and this is just me being totally picky, I don't like this little edge when you put this through your die cut machine. You get the little edge because it doesn't go all the way up to the top. So I cut that off. I don't want to have that shown in my 4 by 4. So now I have it to be able to go 4-inch. And then, so we've got a really good piece here that we definitely will either use, or you'll be able to use it for sure. And then the same thing on this way. I don't want these non-embossed edges on it. So all you have to do is cut off one of them, because we're obviously not going all the way to the bottom. And so we're gonna cut it to 4 by 4. And that's our 4 by 4 piece of the embossing folder that's gonna go inside our easel card. So that's the 4x4. Now remember when we did our gingerbread house and we cut the 2 pieces of the green paper, cardstock they call it, but it's the lighter weight paper, this one. We're now going to attach our embossed piece onto there. And you already have it to go, which is kind of nice. You're not having to now try and find another piece to work with or anything. That's why it's a good idea if you can have them on the top and the bottom, then you're able to use them, and you're not wasting them either because you have all these little pieces. So you put this one on flat. We don't want to put foam tape on the inside, because if it pops up, the easel has a hard time staying in place. So just do it flat. And again, we're just going to have that tiny little green border around the outside, just like that. Okay, this is just scrap. Okay, so that's again where that is. This is something we'll do in a second, but it was a full piece of the embossed that I put on the inside of the card. Okay, so that's what that is. So now you can grab your one that we have already started to create, and you can open it up, and this piece is going to go right on the inside of your easel card. And again, we're going to put it on flat, because if you pop this up, then this guy, when he's trying to stay up, it doesn't hold as nicely. So we're going to stick it flat to our bottom. Again, use your liquid glue or your tape runners. And it has obviously no type of a pattern, up or down. You can put it wherever you want. And it's going to stick right inside our card, just like that. Okay, makes sense? This was a nice way of being able to use the embossing folder. I worked around to see if I could use it on the front of the card, but I really didn't want to lose a lot of this beautiful image that I wanted to put on there. So that was the reason that we didn't do that. So, okay. So now what we are going to do, that's what this one was that we did. I'll grab my next one. Now we're going to go back to our paper pad again. And we are going to use a very little piece of one of the other patterns, but we will use the rest of it. So it will not go to waste. And even if we didn't use it, you would definitely use it. So what I want you to do now is open up your paper pad, and you're going to look for the patterned paper with the bench. Let me see which one it is, and I can tell you right here. Okay, so it is, where did you go? Nope, I just saw it. There it is. It's the one with this reddy, kind of rusty red diagonal print. And this is the paper I'm talking about with the bench. So if you can grab that, and like I say, we're going to use the rest of it, but we're just going to use a tiny little bit of it right now. So this is the one you're looking for. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take this. If you want to do the same thing as we did before, cut off the diagonal piece. We're not going to be using that, so at least it gives you a little bit more play with it. Okay, so we're going to take this one and we are going to cut a strip off the top, and it's going to be 3/4 of an inch by 3 7/8. So you're going to go to your 3/4 of an inch this way. So it's going to be a really narrow strip. There we go, 3/4 of an inch, and set this one aside because like I say, we're going to use it for our next card. So 3/4 of an inch by 3 7/8. Now, let me just see. I don't think it really matters. I did it that way. It really doesn't matter because there's greenery all the way along. So it doesn't really matter whereabouts you cut. So if you want to just go to 3 7/8, just like that. So it's just before the 4-inch. You've got this little tiny strip. This is just garbage. Okay? Everybody's okay? All right, so, and then what I did with this is this little strip, I turned it upside down so there was like the greenery here on the bottom, and I stuck that along here. This little piece, the little green piece, is gonna go on in a second. So all you're gonna do is take this and you're going to put it right down here at the bottom, just like that, okay? And the reason I did that is because when the easel is closed, it was nice to see something with a little bit of greenery on it as well, as opposed to it just being the embossing folder. I love the embossing folder, but you want to make sure that you've got, you know, something to kind of tie in the top and the bottom. So I just stuck that there. So then what you want to do is just take your glue again. We're going to stick that on flat. So it's going to go just onto the bottom, just down here, and it's just going to go flat. And I left a little bit so the white is showing through as well. If you can see it, I didn't go flush to the bottom. So you've got the little bit of a white gap in between. You don't need very much. You can make it a little bit bigger if you want to, totally up to you. So again, just use your glue. And then we're just gonna stick it onto, oops, I'm gonna do it this way. And then just stick it right onto there, just like that. It kind of has a tiny bit of a white on either side as well, but not very much, so you really don't have to worry about it. Okay, so that is that. So that has there. And then what I did was I had that little bit of extra of this paper, the green that we used to mat the two pieces. Yeah. And so there was either this long strip or this piece, either one you can use because it is just the scrap. And I cut a narrow strip of it. It was left over from the 1/4 inch to 3 7/8. So if we cut this first to 3 7/8, just before the 4, there we go. And we want it to be 1/4 of an inch. Right there. And you don't have to do this. This is just something that I like to have just to kind of finish that. To me, it finishes that without it looking like it's kind of, I don't know, not finished. I don't know. I just think that this gives a really nice little finishing strip. And again, you can just use your glue or your tape runner for this. Piece of scrap here, just so I don't glue the table. Or a tiny little strip of sequin is even better because then it is easier to cut. Where's my sequin? Right here. What would we do without sequin? We have it in so many different widths, which is just awesome. So yeah, just a tiny little narrow strip of that works even better. Cut it. And then stick it on. And then as you can see, I added a little button just for an embellishment. That is not holding up the easel. It's just an embellishment. And you can put this wherever you want. You can have it flush against, or you're using more of the green, you can have it butt up against it. I kind of did about halfway because more of the greenery, the better to me. So then it's just flat. And just like that. So to me, it just sort of finished it off a little bit. Okay, so now we're at this point with our easel. We're good. So now, for me, when I did mine, I used a sentiment. You don't have to. You could use a button instead. You can use a jewel, whatever you want to use. The whole idea is all you want to make sure is that this is holding in place. So when it opens up, so it's flat like this, it opens up, it has something to catch it. So it holds it up as an easel. So it can either be a sentiment, or it can be a button, or it could be a jewel, or it could be anything you want to do in order to make it stand. And the only other thing I did was I took a tiny little bit of white. It's this one here. This is what I was showing you before. I put a piece of white in here only because I wanted somewhere to be able to write something on that. Merry Christmas, or this gift is for you, or whatever. If you don't want to and you'd prefer to see more of the embossed image, when this is closed, you can write on the back too. Or you could write up here or wherever you wanted to write, and that way you're not losing the embossed image. But if you want to do it the way I did it, I just cut that small cardstock piece, 1 1/4 by 4 inch, and it is optional, just like that. So then when I went to put mine together, I decided I was going to use the sentiments. So let's step back a sec. Let's do our topper first, because we don't want to be trying to stick this stuff on if we have a sentiment or whatever sitting there. So we're going to grab our adorable little bunny. Where do I have my paper pad? Right here. The adorable little bunny is what's going to sit on the front of mine with the hot chocolate, because I thought it just looked so awesome with the little gingerbread house and a cup of cocoa. So we're going to grab our bunny. Okay, and this is where I just sat him off to the side, or her, I guess she's a her. And it was, you can decide where you want to have it. If you want to have it closer to the door or a little ways out, you could probably even have it coming off so you could have more of the gingerbread house. But you just sort of decide exactly where you want to put her. And then just grab your foam squares, because I did pop it up. Now, if you want it to be thicker, you can use this, the sticky thumb ones. These guys, and they come in squares now as well, but they're a little bit thicker than the regular foam squares. So it just depends on how thick you want it to be. And I'll show you something at the very end that I just kind of did with a few of my scrap ones, just to kind of give you an idea of working with the different levels. So I'm just going to stick these guys in here. Pull out my backing. That's off. There we go. Okay, and then we're just going to stick her just here. I like it with the dimension. Definitely makes a difference. There she is. Okay, and then what I did for not only my sentiment on the top of the card, but the inside to make it as my stopper for my easel, is I used this new set by Spellbinders. This one is called Spectacular Holiday Sentiments by Spellbinders. And it's an amazing set because you get all of these different sentiments that you stamp, and then it also has the dies in order to cut around, which to me is just so amazing because I can never get them straight when I go to cut them. So when it has the die around the outside, it's just perfect. So I used the Cozy Up It's Christmas. That was the little wording I put here by her. You could use Merry Christmas. A lot of you probably have those little chipboard words and stuff that we've had over the seasons and that too. You could stick that in, whatever you want to have on there. It's cute, a great way to put in a sentiment. If you don't want to block the little door, it can come down here, whatever you want to do. And then for the inside, I used the one that says, let the magic begin, because I thought, well, that's cute when you have that on the inside with your gift card or whatever you're going to stick in there. Same thing, same set. So I used the set for both. So that way, if you were going to want one, it's great to be able to do it. If you want, we are sold out. We've sold out a couple of times on these. I'm assuming that Spellbinder still has them, and Courtney, I'm sure, has them as well. But they are called Spectacular Holiday Sentiments. So you can always call the store if you're interested in one. We can put you on request for it and let you know when they come in. The other thing you can do is if you don't want to have that sentiment on the inside, then you can always just add a little button. Like I said, a little button or a gem or anything you want to do. The whole idea is just to have it. Oh, I actually cut those words out again so I can show you. So if I didn't have a sentiment on the inside, You know me and my wood buttons. I probably would use, so the one that I did, my sample, I put the little button here just to finish it off. And then you could put another button, like say here. Does that make sense? So you could have a little button here, and all that's doing is stopping it from closing. And you decide exactly how far down you want it. If you want it that far, so you've got quite a large thing here for a gift card, great. If you want her to stand up a little bit more, then you're gonna put the stopper there so that when you open it up, that's where it's gonna stop. Okay, so that's what I would suggest. It's entirely up to you. I did cut out the words just so you can see how that die set works. So when you use that set, it stamps and it cuts them out. So it's really cool. You just have to have some low-tack tape to hold them in place when you crank them through. But great way to add for either your sentiment or for your stopper. And if you decided you wanted to use the button and you wanted to put a little sentiment down here, you could do that too, whatever you prefer. The other thing I did for mine is I did add some tiny little pearls. I know I didn't see any in the store, so these are probably from my stash, some from along the road, and you guys would have them as well. But you could use gems as well, like just little tiny rhinestone gems. It just gives it a kind of a little shimmer onto the trees. And I know a lot of you also have like the, you know, the snow epoxy or that kind of stuff. You could use that as well. I think it just adds sparkle, and this is, to me, is just such a cute little one. So that is our first card. I hope you guys liked that one. And again, like I say, I will make sure everything goes home with me, and then I will send out tonight the instructions for all the cards. So that is that one. The second one I'm going to show you, and it really doesn't take much time. How are we doing? Yeah, you'll be able to get through it. And then the third one I will show you and explain it to you, and I'll probably send it out with your instructions and everything, but we'll see how it goes. So the second item I did, and again, a lot of you know that I love to do these kind of booky things and stuff. So because again, I just love these little characters, I think they're just absolutely adorable, I decided that I would make like a book. So this would be a great little book. You could use it as you could put a gift card inside, you could just use it as a card, but I decided that I would put all my cute little guys and this stamp set in here. Again, you would put a sentiment, whatever you wanted to use. This stamp set is also out of the set I just showed you. It just doesn't have a die around the outside, but you would just cut it into a rectangle like that. And then I put a picture. This is a picture from last Christmas. I only have one grandson then, and now I have two. But at that time we just had Max, and so that's our Christmas, and all I did was mat it and put it on the inside. You could get those little, I do a lot with the little tiny photos that you can get done at London Drugs or different photo places, and you could have 2 or 3 little photos on there, which would be fantastic too. And then I had to add this cute little elephant in here too. So this just basically is your sentiment sheet. But again, you could tuck a little card in there, a gift card, or if you didn't put, especially if you didn't put foam up at the top, it could be a little pocket, or add a little photo in that as well. So this, just because I just love this embossing folder, I just thought, well, what a nice way to make like a little presentation book as opposed to just a card. Now, I don't think I would stick it in the mail. I think it probably would get trashed. And you don't have to add the bow. You could add just a strip of paper or whatever you wanted to do if you wanted to finish it differently. I just added the bow just for a little bit of dimension in that on it too. So I'll show you how I did it, just so we can take some time to do this guy too. Let me just get my pieces here. So where are we? Right here. So your 2 embossed pieces, because again, I said 4, but you definitely probably won't need to have 4. So I'm going to grab 2 of my embossed pieces, and you want to make sure, obviously, they're going to be the exact same size. And I'm going to do the same thing as what I did for the first one. Make sure I don't have any edges on them so that they're all the embossed images. So you're going to cut it to 5.5 by 8.5. So if you cut off this one edge that doesn't have embossing on it, let's see where we're at. 5.5, yeah, pretty well exact. So 5.5, that'll get rid of my other strip that doesn't have the embossing. So there's my 5.5. And we're gonna cut it to 8.5. Like, what an awesome size of an embossing folder. Because if you're doing smaller cards, you can wing these through your machine, and now you have 2 pieces that you could do 2 little tiny cards or tags. It's just a fantastic embossing folder. And then I need to cut it to 8.5. There we go, I'm cutting off that strip. Okay, so there's our first piece. And we're gonna do the second piece the exact same. Take that off. That off. And then to 8.5. Perfect. Okay, so that's our 2 pieces. Just like that. Dead easy. Okay, so now, here we go. We're going to use the bench piece that we just cut that little strip off for our easel card. So, of course, we're not going to waste this. And I thought, well, this is a perfect way for our cute little bear to have a seat on the bench with his little friends sitting beside him. So we're going to take this piece that you had, and we're going to cut it to 4.25 by 5 3/4. So what you want to do is cut the strip off the top and the bottom so that you're not losing. Like, I was trying not to lose when I cut it. At least I got this one little snowflake up here. So however you want to cut it, if you wanted to cut it, I don't know if you'd be able to keep the whole thing. 4.25 by 5 3/4. Yeah, I mean, not really. So you can't really cut it to keep the whole little baubles and snowflakes, which is too bad, but that's okay. You have another sheet, so you can cut this one. So what I did was I cut it pretty well to the top of this snowflake. Just like that. So we got that one little snowflake in, and then I cut it down here. So it was the 4.25. And you're not really going to see too much of down here because we got our little friends sitting down there. And then 5 3/4, which we are almost exactly at. You're just going to have to take a little bit off, and it's not going to matter which way you do that. Okay, so we've got our piece here, which is the little bench on the background, just like that. And he's going to form our topper. Okay, so I'm going to move that aside. Now we're going to cut another piece of white cardstock. So grab another piece of white cardstock that you had pulled. And we're going to cut a piece 4 3/8. 1, 2, 3, 4 3/8 by 5 7/8. So just before 6. And this guy is going to mat the one we just cut. So just like that. And that's forming this one down in here. Okay, so we can set those aside. So right now we have our 2 embossed pieces, our white mat, and our bench. And now we're going to grab our book again with our papers in it, and we're going to find the darker green. So we used that lighter green before. Now we're going to use this real dark, rich green, which is just absolutely beautiful. And it's such a good weight too. I don't think I would use it as a card base, only because you would, you know, use so much of it. I love it for matting. I think it's just fantastic. So grab your darker green, and we're gonna cut a piece 4 5/8 by 6 1/8. So let's see where we're at. So 6 1/8. By 4 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that should match this. And I did a wider one just so you could really see that beautiful rich green. Okay, so what we can do is let's put the bench onto the white, just flat. So just with your runner or your sequin. Just like that. So that's a tiny little border around there. And then we're going to put these two onto your green piece with your foam squares. Thank you guys for your compliments. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I always try and come up with some different ideas, but like I say, I have a hard time with my style of stuff, reinventing the wheel, but I always have people say, I love your style, so that's okay. That makes me happy. All right, so let's peel these ones off. Got them all. So this guy onto our green one. Yeah, I love the colors in this. Just like that. Okay, so those are good to go. So what I'm gonna do, let's put this together first as our little booklet. Now, before we put it together, I took this top one. It's probably my next card. Let me see. Yes, it is my next card. There we go. So we're gonna score the cover on the left 1 1/4 inch. So only the top piece. You're gonna take the top piece and you're gonna score it at 1 1/4 inch. That way you're not bending it. You've got an actual fold, so it keeps it crisper when you're going to present it. So give that a good one. And then we're gonna put it on here. So when you're doing this booklet too, this is what I was talking about earlier, the embossed and the debossed. So you're gonna see, it's up to you. You can do it either way. You can have the embossed on the outside, but I like the embossed on the outside. And then this way, the way we just burnished that, we are going to fold it, and then that gives you a nice crisp line in order to be able to open it up. So you're not flipping both, you're just flipping the cover. So that's scoring on the left 1 1/4 inches in. So now you're gonna take your sequin tape or whatever you wanna use. I would use sequin only if you have it, only because it's a little bit stronger when this is more of a little booklet. Get this up here. And you really just need a couple of strips. I mean, your other option would be to coil it, or, you know, anything. If you wanted to put holes and then buy some of those little rings, you could do that too. I just think this is it's a simple little book. It's not something that, you know, you're gonna stick a whole ton of photos in. There'd probably be a way of you adding extra pages if you wanted to. But to me, this was just sort of more of a gift thing that you could put a gift card in, and maybe a really special photo to give somebody to remember happy times. So then we just stick the two of those together because they're exact. And now that's our little booklet. So just like that. So it would open up. This is where we would put the photo that I showed you that I put there. You don't have to put a photo. It could be a sentiment. It could be something you've written. It could be small little photos and have a bunch of them in there. I didn't give dimensions because I don't know what size your photo is going to be. But if it's a 4x6 photo, then you're just going to want to do as big of a base that you want to put on there. So that would be for that page there. And so then when we go back to the front, we're going to stick these here onto the front. And I would use foam tape. Just make sure that you're putting it far enough over. Remember your score line. So you don't want to stick this on and then you have it stuck here and you're like, oh, what did I do? So you want to just, basically you're going to center it onto this piece. So not where the score line, past the score line, and you're just going to center it. And I would use foam tape. I'm going to just use a runner just for time. But you could use foam tape or you could do it flat, whichever you prefer. Just make sure it's a good amount of adhesive on it because some of the glue runners and things like that tend to have issues with the embossing sometimes, like to have it stick completely. This is a good glue runner, so usually I won't have a problem. So that keeps it a little bit flatter too, like especially when you're going to use foam on your little critter friends, right? So this is what I was talking about earlier, and I'm not going to put these on only because you may want to use other ones. It's entirely up to you. You have two of them of all of them, and that way if Courtney's using one for her project, we're still good because we had two each to be able to create with. So you can go ahead and decide where you want to put them and how thick you want them. But this is what I was talking about before. So the little bear is put on just with my regular foam squares, the ones that basically are about that dimension when I'm sticking something on. The cow and the little bunny, they're on with the sticky thumb. So that's this brand, and they just tend to be thicker. You could also do double foam tape. I mean, Diane uses double foam tape all the time. So you could do double foam tape. You could do triple foam tape if you wanted to have them, one of them up higher than the other. But I just kind of wanted to play around with the dimensions, and I added the little green tree here as well. So it's just a cute little way, and those pearls again, could put a pearl there. I bought those little pom-poms just at Michael's or wherever, stuck it onto there. So it's just giving you dimension, and you can decide exactly where it was. And of course, I'll have the photo so you'll have an idea of what I've done, but you can play around with your little cute little friends. And same thing with the elephant. If you wanted to leave that blank, you could too. I have the dimensions for what I did. So I matted, I just said for the inside of this one, just mat your photo, which I talked about a moment ago. On the right side, I cut a piece of the white cardstock, which is right here. And the dimensions are there. And I cut a piece of the rusty kind of cardstock in there because I thought it sort of tied in with the bow. And it sort of tied in with this photo that I have. You may want to use one of the other colors. So that's what I stuck there. Or you may not want to use the elephant. You may want to use another little guy. So entirely up to you. So that's what those dimensions are. And then I grabbed the scrap of the light green cardstock, which is what I think I cut my strip off. So you probably want to cut your strip. Well, you could use any of the other cardstocks. But what I did for doing this corner, I'll just show you that, just so you know. I cut a square 3 1/4 inches. And again, you could use the rest, you could use any of them, 3 1/4 inches. So just like that. And then I just cut it on the diagonal. So if you put it like that, diagonally, and cut it, that forms your corner. And you could emboss this, like emboss it with the snowflake paper and then stick it on there. That would be beautiful as well. And if you just cut So now if what you do is you put your little critter in on it if you wanted to, or you could leave it blank. And if all you did was put glue around here and then just attached your critter to this part, now it's a pocket. So you can put your little gift card in there or a little message or something too. That would be adorable as well. So I used the little elephant on the inside, and the little gift was one of your other punch outs. There's just so much that you can do with this kit. We have kits left. If you want another kit, please call the store. I don't know if Courtney does, but we do. Not many, but you could give the embossing folder to someone else, or I would keep a spare, because if I lost mine, I don't know what I would do. I love it. So you can always get another one. I think it was 32. And you get a whole other pad, which again is amazing. And then, but you could give the embossing folder to somebody else. So you can always call us if you want more, but it's just so much fun. So that was my booklet. Where are we doing? Okay, we're just about up. So I'm going to show you my third card, and then I'm going to post it for you tonight so that you have it. This was my third card. I just love this guy. So here again, we've just got our embossed background, matted in white. I do this all the time. You can eliminate that white if you don't want to use it, but I just always think it finishes my embossed piece. I use this beautiful, I think it looks like a rose gold sort of color, rosy pink. It's beautiful. I use that as a mat. And then when I cut my embossing folder, so when I asked you to cut, you know, your pieces like this, when I cut this piece, this strip was left over. So that can be your topper. There's the rest of the embossing piece. If you don't cut it right and you have to cut another embossing folder, not a big deal, because you've got lots. And then this adorable little giraffe. I added just gems, little rhinestone gems. I did the same thing as what we did on the first card on this guy, where we added this little strip, which I said I like because it finishes it. I do that a lot with my toppers, though. I'll have my background piece, and then this is just a tiny little piece tucked in, and added a button, so it just gives it a little bit of dimension and then a little bit of finishing it off. And this piece here is again out of your book, and I know it says on my instructions which one you have to pull. Sparkle on the way, all the way, again is from that set from Spellbinders. So if you want one that has a whole ton of different sayings and that in it, it's the way to go, that's for sure. So this, I really loved this card. It was one that I did just sort of as an add-on, and I will, like I say, post the instructions, and I'll post my little tag cards, and I'll post the picture. I'll do that tonight for you, okay? June, don't worry about being late, because I was saying earlier on, all of our Crafty Hours will be on YouTube, so you can watch it anytime you want. You can go back and forth. If you can go, what did she say? Which people do that all the time. You can go back and see it and go and decide what you want to do. These are my creations, but they don't have to be yours. You can use yours to make so many other awesome stuff. Like I said, we still have some of the Crafty Hours left, so you can give us a call at the store if you want one. One last thing. So the other reason that I would like to have another pad, paper pad, is the other thing I tend to do. This is just a little card that I just made up using, again, this adorable little dog. But I put two, I don't know how easy this is going to be for you to see, but I'll take two of the images. I'll put one on top of the other with foam tape, and then put it onto my card. I find that just gives so much more stability than just a flat one onto my card. It's just something I like to do if I have twos. Quite often we don't have the opportunity of having two images. So you don't want to go ahead and do this and then use your ones that Courtney's going to use in hers later this afternoon. But if you want to pick up another pad, like I say, we still have some, and that's an awesome way of giving it a bit more stability. They could be great tags and things too. But again, just the scrap of the embossing folder, just some of that paper that we didn't even use today. There's just so much paper, and it's just a quick and easy little card. So that one I'll put a picture in, but I haven't got instructions or anything. I just wanted to show you that, so you did it. So thank you all again for being with me today. I believe Sharon said it's 3 o'clock today for Courtney, so check that out. She always has an awesome crafty hour. Please join Crafty Hour Creations if you haven't yet. Do that because it's a great way to put your creations in, and it's your way to get your homework ahead of time, and any other info, well, like today when I post my photos and everything, it'll be in there too. Our next Crafty Hour 95, is coming up. It's this awesome one, Arden one. It is $30. Again, an amazing embossing folder and laser cuts. And Jo is the queen of Halloween. You will love her, what she does. And Courtney, of course, always. So that one is coming up. We still have a few of those left too. Call the store if you're interested. What did I say? It's $30. And then tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., I believe there's an event set up. Deanna will release the new Crafty Hour, and you will not want to miss it. It's going to be an amazing one. I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope I gave you some inspiration in that as well. I'm not sure when I will be back with you, but I look forward to crafting along with all the other awesome people that I get to work with every day. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend, and we will talk soon.